Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here. Yeah, I know it's Christmas sweatshirt, but it's the only sweatshirts I have, and it's been kind of cold. Anyways, episode 6 of Stranger Things. Well, as you remember, uh, last episode, Nancy and Jonathan fired a shotgun into what they thought was a dark magic generator creating the wall. And Dustin found out that's not what it was and tried to warn them. Uh, Basically, it is, as Dustin explains it to Steve, it's more of a wormhole. It's a bridge. It was man made, created. It's a bridge to another universe. But if they destroy it, it sucks everything through and gets and destroys it, everything and everyone, in his theory. And the gunshot or the shotgun shell had done something to the barrier and huge release of energy, just shot all the way through the upside down, and it caused a bit of a hole, which is starting to suck stuff through. Also, that lab building is starting to melt. Nancy and Jonathan fell through the roof into another room downstairs as everything is just melting and coming down. Uh, Back in the regular universe, Erica and Murray go to see Mr. Clark, who they discover is sleeping with the town librarian, or the school librarian. I'm not sure which, but anyways. And they convince him to help them build a transceiver tracker by explaining that Dustin is in terrible danger. Uh, Now, Max and Holly make it back to the cave, although Henry is right behind them and he lets Holly know that if she doesn't return to the house, he will cause pain, misery, and even death to Max. Just because he can't enter the cave doesn't mean he can't hurt Max. Now, Will has not woken up. The connection should be broken, but it isn't. Will finds himself trapped in the tendrils, and Vecna is going to use him to locate Max in the real world. Uh, Elle, Callie, and Hopper try to get through an opening they see from when all that power got disrupted. And Elle's kind of trying to clear a path using her powers. We also learn all those tunnels they had, those are actually created by Will. Vecna used him while he was asleep to build them. He considers Will his builder. Crazy. Now, Holly and Max start having a discussion on, why Henry will not enter the cave. Obviously, it is some memory that he is traumatized by. Well, there's nothing in the cave that indicates this. And since they use their own memories to get back to where they were, this memory must be able to get them to where Henry was and get through that way. So they head out into the desert, where eventually Holly makes the discovery that the cap on the telescope is cracked in a specific shape, and she realizes it's a map of where they need to be in relationship to the cave. And then she finds a mine shaft by falling through some rotten boards, but Max saves her. Let's see. Now, Robin has a theory, a very correct theory, on why Will hasn't woken up yet. That theory is that, quite correctly, They are all in Vecna's mind. Max is in a coma. Her mind is not there. It's in Vecna's mind. Same with Will, same with Holly, same with, you know. So, Robin and Lucas head to the hospital to use Kate Bush to bring Max back through. Now, let's see. When they get there, Max's girlfriend Vicky pulls her aside. Military's after her. Security's after her. They know about the benzos. So, Robin starts to tell Vicky what's really going on. While Lucas plays running up that hill. Elle has been trying to reach Will. Sensory deprivation, headphones, bandana across the eyes, but it's not working. Hopper says, well, then we'll have to use the tank we built after Elle recharges with food and rest. So they head back to the cabin, where Elle tells Mike about what Callie told her about why Kay wants Elle to use her blood to create more numbers, and which could lead to a possible another Henry. Now, after Robin finishes explaining what's going on to Vicky, Vicky thinks she's on drugs and is going through withdrawal. That's got to be why she thinks all this crazy stuff. And then she gets caught by the military. Let's see. Now, backing upside down, a lot of back and forth on this. Nancy and Jonathan wake up in a room that is slowly filling with the melting building, and they are trapped in there. Steve and Dustin are trying to get to them, but the way up is melted, and Steve tries to use a ladder to bridge a gap, and Dustin freaks out. Steve will die. He can't handle someone else die, especially not Steve, and he just breaks down. And it inadvertently saves Steve, because while Steve's comforting Dustin, the ladder he was putting up to bridge a gap fell through, and he would have died. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Elle, Hop, and Callie. They all made it out. Anyways, Elle uses the separation tank, and she finally gets to Will and learns where he's being held and frees him. And Will, when he wakes up, tells her Vecna knows where Max is. Using him, he found her in the hospital. So now they're all rushing to the hospital too, because they gotta save Max. Meanwhile, in the room that's filling with liquid, Jonathan and Nancy are kind of on a table that's kind of they're a bit of Titanic salvation, shall we say, where they start to come to terms with what's been going on between them. Jonathan not getting in school and not telling her, her not coming to visit him when she could have and not telling him, and it finally leads to him giving her the ring with the realization that getting married wouldn't solve anything. And so they both agree to not marry each other. They love each other, but it is a bond made from tragedy, and maybe that's not the best way to start a life together. We'll see how that goes out. And then when he tosses the ring aside, it clinks onto the floor instead of sinking. Everything is solidified. They're saved. Back at the hospital, the Demogorgons show up. And They inadvertently free Robin because they kill the soldiers because the soldiers are shooting at them. And Robin learns from Vicky that the next best exit is in the basement, so she goes over the loudspeaker to tell Lucas to grab Max and head for the basement. They're coming for him. Mine shaft. This is important. Got to go back to that. Holly and Max go into the mine shaft, and they're going along, and they see an injured man with a briefcase, and they see Henry as a young scout approach the man, try to help him, and the man shoots him in the hand. And then they see Henry fight with this man and kill him with a rock. And he starts to open the briefcase, which is frozen inside, or cooled. But before they can see what that is, or we can see what it is, Max hears Kate Bush. So they rush to this outcropping, and they pull out some rocks and finally manage to squeeze their way through, and they are up into the upside down of Henry's memory. And they head towards the music. Back in the hospital, the flickering lights that accompany a Demogorgon attack wakes up Mrs. Wheeler. And she pulls out her IV. Those are always painful. I just came from the hospital a few weeks ago, so yeah, painful. And she starts to head towards the door on wobbly legs and sees there's a bunch of empty oxygen containers. Or not empty, full oxygen containers in her room. Meanwhile, Robin, Vicky, Max, or the unconscious Max and Lucas make it to the basement. They're chased and hide into the laundry. Robin wants Lucas to turn off the tape player, but he won't because he knows Max is coming back. And the Demogorgons break in. And they start searching for them. And they're getting closer. And closer. And closer. And then there's this loud banging noise coming from one of the dryers. So they head towards the dryers. There's an oxygen tank in that dryer being spun around on high heat. Boom! All three Demogorgons are destroyed in the explosion. And in surveying the damage, our four teen heroes see Mrs. Wheeler come out of the smoke victorious, finally, against the things that took her daughter. As for Holly and Max, well, Max sees her way out, her body. But she tells Holly she can't come with her because that's Max's body. Holly has to find her own. Well, Holly can't find her own. And then she says, well, there's something that has been giving you strength. What is it? Well, it's the little figurine that Mike gave her. But she can't do it. She's a coward. And Max gives her a big pep talk, and when she finally gets her, up enough to have confidence that she can do this, her way out opens. And then Max tells her, "Look, I don't know where you're going to be, but it's going to be in the Upside Down. Once you're awake, the Upside Down is the replica of Hawkins. Head towards your house and hide there. We will come for you." And then we end with them both running towards their respective exits. Whew. A lot of back and forth in this episode because we got a lot of pieces to keep track of. But things are pretty good. Didn't get to see Linda Hamilton this episode, but that's probably just as well. And now we know basically that Henry himself wasn't naturally created. Something the government was experimenting on is what created Henry. And they've been using Henry to try and duplicate it. So I'm betting this all leads back to Dr. K, that she actually came up with that thing. Although it could have been the one everybody called Papa. Have to wait and see. But yeah, things are heading to a major confrontation. 2 episodes left. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.